What is going on, my lovely people? Welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing well today. Thank you so much for joining me today. Before we actually jump right into this video, please feel free to follow my Twitch and feel free to give my Patreon a look down below in the description. And feel free to recommend, any, German TV shows, movies, series, songs, stuff you would like for me to check out that we can't react to over here on the tube. But I could put it over there on that Patreon, baby. Here we go. Thank you so much for joining me once again. Today I bring to you German police versus, the police over here in America. Big difference. Huge difference. My goodness. Let's go ahead and jump right into this video. I don't want to go on a rant. Hopefully I don't get, annoyed in any type of way because, I just tend to get aggravated when comparing our police over here in America to the other police, in other countries, man. Because it makes us look like a fool. And shout out to Rue Boss right here. Rue Boss, you the man. He almost at 200K. Get him there. Get him to 200K. Let's jump right into this video, man.
Visiting Germany and are stopped by the police who start asking you questions. What do you do now? What are your rights in this situation? And how can you make sure that you don't get yourself into trouble? In this video, I'm going to give you just a few pieces of advice. But first, I am not a lawyer, so this is not legal advice. Also, this video is not going to be helpful to you if you are in a very serious situation. If you've been arrested or are to be questioned as either a suspect or even a witness, then you really need to talk to a lawyer. Now, I don't want to give the impression that the German police are bad. Normally, they are professional and well-trained. It's not like some countries I could mention where you have to be very careful not to get shot.
Yep.
That is very rare in Germany. Let's put this into perspective. In 2019, a total of 15 people were killed by police in Germany. That is approximately 0.00002% of the entire population.
Yeah.
In the same year, US police shot dead nearly 1,000 people, which is 0.0003%. In other words, statistically speaking, you are 15 times more likely to be killed by police in the US than in Germany. However, while the German police are generally more professional, they're not perfect. And
See, that just makes us look bad. People in Germany right now are probably like, how are they still living? Oh my gosh, really? It's not that bad. It depends what state, what area, what city you are in, yes, and who we are dealing with, because not all of them are the same. Nah.
Every police force in the world, they're made up of human individuals, and not all of them are as professional as others.
Exactly.
So you don't really need to worry about your safety, but it's still good to know your rights. The general principle is that the police cannot stop you randomly, although there are some exceptions. Normally, they need to have reasonable grounds for suspicion, and they need to tell you exactly what they suspect you of. A very important exception to this rule is the general traffic check. In Germany, police can randomly stop vehicles to check that they are roadworthy and the drivers fit to drive. They can give your vehicle a quick visual inspection, and they can also demand to see all the things that you are legally required to have in the vehicle. So a high visibility jacket, a warning triangle, and a first aid kit, as well, of course, as your to drive. They can give your vehicle a quick visual inspection, and they can also demand to see all the things that you are legally required to have in the vehicle. So a high visibility jacket, a warning triangle, and a first aid kit as well.
Man, a high visibility vest, a jacket, what's the triangle thing again? I know a first aid kit, but what's the triangle thing? Like, what do we need? Okay, yeah, it's a little different from the US, man. All right. A little thing I wanted to, compare to what he said over here in the U.S. Maybe I should wait. Should I wait to the end of the video? Should I wait to end the video? Over here in the U.S., it's like, especially now, like 2025, they do not need a specific reason, to pull you to the side or to detain you. If they feel that you are guilty now, like this is the new thing. If they feel that you are guilty or you're up to suspicions or something's going on with you, they could detain you, bro. And they could bring you to the precinct. That's not fair. That's literally what they can do now. So yes, they can pull you over for no reason if they want. And they have to ask us out here for the information once you pull it over to make it valid. Do they gotta really give you a reason? You know these cops, they can give you a runaround. They could BS you, man. They don't really gotta give you a real reason. They can manipulate, do all type of stuff like that. That's what it's like, and it's not. It's not cool, bro.
Of course, as your driving license. But without reasonable grounds for suspicion, they cannot search your vehicle, and they also cannot force you to take a breathalyzer test or give a urine sample or anything of that nature, at least not without your consent. So let's say you're stopped by police and asked to take a breathalyzer test because they say you look like you might be drunk. Now, you can legitimately refuse, but should you? Well, if you do refuse, then the police must consider whether they have reasonable grounds to take you to the police station for a blood test. So the risk to you, obviously, is that...
Blood test? Wait, if they're doing blood tests, does that mean like they could tell if you're under the influence if you blowing it down? I'm talking about blowing it down and you got that marijuana in your system? Because, you know, that's not a thing out here in the U.S. They can't see if you're under the influence with marijuana. Only, like, alcohol. So if they blood testing y'all at the precinct, that mean they could see if you got THC in your system? Yeah, you may not be drunk, but you was driving reckless and you was all in between the roads, this and that. You're under the influence of marijuana. Cooked. You're cooked just like that. Word? No.
You get taken to the police station. The risk to the police is that actually everything's fine, you pass the blood test, there's nothing wrong, and then they've just wasted a lot of time and money. You would probably need to make your own decision on that, but what some police officers do is to demand a urine sample on the spot.
They ask for a urine sample too, you're cooked. Because they can show that in the system as well. You're cooked. At least out here in the U.S., you're safe because they're not doing all of this. It's different out there in Germany, I see. Okay.
Which is not just inconvenient, but also massively humiliating for most people. Now, I think in a situation like that, it is worth knowing that you can refuse, and then that would force the police officers to make a decision whether to just let you go or risk taking you in for a blood test. By the way, it used to be that they needed the authorization of a judge for a blood test, but that is now no longer necessary. The second biggest exception to the no random stops rule is if you're in a situation where there is a strong possibility of criminal activity or violence. So you might be at, for example, a demonstration or an airport or a railway station or a place where criminals are known to meet. The exact rules vary from state to state, so I can't be very specific here. But in these situations, the police do have the power to stop and search random people.
Oh, here we go. You see, this is like reminding me of the border situation going on right now. The U.S. and Canada. Man, the U.S. border, they not playing. They're checking phones. Like, they have the right to check your vehicle at that border. Check your vehicle. Check you. They could check your phone or your apps and everything. They don't care about no face ID, no password. Put it in. Bro, like, they are violating. Oh, man. I mean, hey, how do you guys feel about that? Have you ever had your phone or anything, you know, randomly checked? Like, how did you handle that?
Anywhere else, they need reasonable grounds for suspicion. Here is a concrete example. It happened a few years ago when I was still living in Berlin, and I just wanted to get from one side of Alexanderplatz to the other. But I was stopped by a police officer who wanted to search my bag. I asked why, and they explained that some politician was giving a speech of some kind, and that therefore random stop and search was in effect.
Okay.
If I wanted to walk across the...
I understand that, and this is how we keep a safe environment, because if you're truly not guilty, I understand it's like, what do you need to check my stuff for? I'm on the move, get out of my way. At the same time, we got to think about people that got a bigger influence too. You know, there'd be some crazy people out there trying to take people out and do this and that. Just stop for a few seconds so that the lady or the guy can be safe when they come in town and this and that, you know? Stuff like that. If we truly care for other people's safety, I care for the safety too. What if I'm in the area? Go ahead, check my bag. Go ahead. Check his bag. Make sure he don't got nothing either. You know what I'm saying? Because out here in the U.S., we tend to profile. We tend to look at people. We don't know if they look a certain way, if they got a do-rag on, if they got locks, or if they got tattoos or certain stuff, they wearing all black. Ooh, you know, security's on them. Yeah, I used to work at jobs and stuff. Security's on them right away. You come through that door. The profile is crazy. Like the profiling is crazy, guys, and it's for all races too. It's not just black people. How people be making it seem. It's for all races. You come in there looking a certain way, yeah, facts. Everybody getting judged, and
Plaza, I had to have my bag searched.
like, it's just safer. It's just safer than guessing. Like, you know, you got mad security around when they come in town on ease because it's like we don't know who got what. You know, at least we know we did random checks and we didn't find not one weapon today out of what? Say we randomly searched 2,000-3,000 people. Say we was going crazy today. We searched a few hundreds of thousand people and not one thing, not even some mace. Come on.
Well, I hadn't planned on attending this event. I didn't even know it was on. I didn't want to fight my way through a crowd of people, and I certainly didn't want to listen to some firebrand politician I'd never heard of jabber on about how useless the government is. So I told the officer that I would really rather not be searched, thank you very much, and that I would find a different route, at which point he shrugged and said, fair enough, and it was that easy. All right, so if you are...
And you have an option. But out here in the U.S., sometimes it's more of a demanding. Like, I got a badge. I'm bigger than you. Give me your bag. Whoa. That's when it becomes an issue. That's when it becomes an issue. And that's what they need to stop doing over here. They need to stop doing that. Stop doing that.
Stopped by the police. What are their rights? What are your rights? And what should you do? Well, if you're not actually being arrested, the police don't have too many rights. They can ask whatever questions they want, but the only ones that you have to answer are those to establish your identity. Your name, date of birth, address, and nationality. The police can also demand to see your passport or ID card, and incidentally, you are legally required to possess at least one of those, although you don't normally have to carry it with you. In practice, in most cases, anything you have that will back up your answers ought to be sufficient. A driving license, for example. Yeah. I once managed it with a bank card. Any other question you can refuse to answer. But of course, if you say nothing at all, the officers are likely to suspect that you have something to hide. On the other hand, if you say too much, you might accidentally incriminate yourself. So, what do? First and most importantly, remain calm and polite. Don't give the officers any reason to get annoyed with you. But at the same time, whatever questions you choose to answer them briefly and never give them any information that they didn't ask for.
Facts.
The thing to watch out
this
for...
guy. He know the deal.
Or if you do encounter some of the less professional officers, is that they may try to make you say more than you should. For example, if they say something like... yeah, we've been having problems with people riding scooters while stoned, do not say, oh, that's all right, I haven't had a joint all week. The classic, of course, is, do you know why I pulled you over? The only correct answer to that question is
no.
No.
Facts. No.
And that's basically it.
Why? Because why incriminate yourself? You're going to give them something that maybe they don't even got. Oh. Is it my tail light, or is it because like my muffler? Oh, well, I didn't know that. Let me go ahead and look at that. There we go. Like, bro.
The police don't have many rights, but some of them do have a few nasty tricks they can play on you. Be friendly, keep your answers businesslike, don't give them any information they didn't ask for, and remember that you always have the right to remain silent.
Yup,
but hey, the chances are that you will never need to use any of the information in this video. If this has all been just a complete waste of your time, then that's actually a good thing.
Facts. Hey, this is a W video, man. W video by Rue Boss. Original video link will be in the description down below. You guys know how I do. We gotta show love to the original, creators of this content, for real. Without them, I wouldn't be able to react to, such stuff and be educated by it, man. Feel free to share your honest thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Feel free to educate me on anything that may have not been included in this video, or just anything, that you actually want to add on, because I feel like he really included a lot of details. I fully understand what's going on out there in Germany, man. So please feel free to add on to what he said. If you have anything else in mind, feel free to check out my Twitch and Patreon in the description down below. Stay safe, and I hope to catch you all in the next reaction video. And please feel free to share any experiences you've ever had in Germany as a visitor or as a local, somebody who's grew up there, born and bred. Have you ever had random stops or this or that? And how did you handle it, man?